Dear students, today we are going to go along with the first prose piece, A Deed of Bravery, written by Jim Corbett. And in the last session, we had seen the introduction to the author Jim Corbett and his personality and his background. What we had seen in the previous session would help us to understand this particular prose piece, A Deed of Bravery, in a better way. For convenience, this particular prose piece is divided into three parts, and today we are going to discuss the first part of this prose piece and we'll analyze and understand this part for the day. Now, to begin with, even before we start with the analysis, just a small background about this prose piece. This story tells us about the two main characters, that is Hariya and Narva, two young men who hailed from the same village near Almora. Now, they were the basket makers by profession and they made huge baskets with bamboo, which they cut from the tiger reserve at Nalini forest. So the entire story revolves around these two characters and Jim Corbett's encounter with these two characters and his experience with these two people. The entire story revolves around this. So we will start with the first part of this deed of bravery. Narva and Hariya, they described themselves as blood brothers, though they were not. They were so close to one another that everyone thought that they were brothers, but actually they were not. They were born and they grew up in the village near Almora. They adopted the profession of basket making and they were untouchables. In the United Provinces, baskets were made only by untouchables, mostly by untouchables. So these people, what they did in summertime is they worked at their trade in their village, and in the winter months they came down to Kaladungi. Now Kaladungi had a great demand for huge baskets measuring up to 15 feet in diameter. The villagers used them for the storage of grain. So the demand for the baskets was really high. In their village, they made their baskets of ringles. Ringles means a thin bamboo which is an inch thick and up to 20 feet long. So they use these ringles to make the baskets. Now ringles grew at an altitude of 4 to 10,000 feet and also makes the most perfect of fly rods. Now the bamboos in Kaladungi grew in the government reserved forests. The land cultivators near the reserved forests were permitted to cut a certain number each year for their personal use. But for commercial purposes of the bamboo, they needed a license from the forest guard. For the license, they had to pay 2 annas per headload and a small consideration to the forest guard. The license was a personal one and people used to carry fair quantity of bamboos of 2-year-old, which were considered to be the best ones for basket making per headload. Now in the morning of 26 December 1939, Narva and Hariya, they set out to obtain a license from the forest guard. Now the entire episode gets its action or gets its force from this point of the story onwards. They started their journey from their communal hut near the bazaar at Kaladungi. They walked 8 miles to Nalini village. They took the license to cut 2 headloads of bamboos in the Nalini reserved forests. Now after that, since the weather was very cold, they wrapped coarse cotton sheets round their shoulder and first they walked for a mile along the canal bank. Then they walked on the high walls and took a footpath through patches of dense scrub jungle. They crossed over long stretches of the boulder-strewn bank of the Bow River stretches. At river's bank stretches, a pair of otters were seen in the early morning, and mahseer up to 3 or 4 pounds could have been fished in the afternoon. Now, after crossing 2 miles up, they entered a tree and grass jungle. Small herds of sambar, chital, and an occasional kakar, leopard, and a tiger were to be seen morning and evening in the grass jungle. A mile through this jungle, they reached Hill's Converge Point. Now, they started this journey along the path of the jungle. Then they reached Samal Cow, where people grazed cattle and poached or sometimes shot wild animals also. Now, one had to walk warily in this valley, as for the footpath is used by both tigers as well as human beings. So those who walked through this jungle, they needed to be very, very careful, as it was a path for tigers also. Now Narva and Hariya, they are walking through this jungle, and at the upper end of the valley, before going steeply up the hill for 2 miles to Nalini village, they passed through a strip of grass. Now Nalini village was 2 miles from the upper end of the valley. A strip of 8-foot grass, which was 30 yards in wide, was the way to Nalini hill. Now Hariya was leading the path, with Narva following a few steps behind him. As soon as they entered the strip of grass, a tiger attacked Narva on his right shoulder. Now Hariya saw Narva on his back with a tiger lying diagonally across him. Now Hariya grasped Narva's ankles in each and started pulling him away from the tiger. But the tiger stood and started to growl. Hariya pulled Narva for a fair enough distance and set him on his feet. Narva was too badly wounded and trembled to stand or walk. What Hariya did at this point of time, he helped Narva by holding his arm by the shoulder and regained the path to Nalini village. He showed fearlessness and extraordinary efforts to take Narva to the Nalini village, and he literally rescued his friend or so-called brother from the danger. So this is the first part of the incident which is expressed or which is projected in this prose piece, A Deed of Bravery. After he is being taken, after Narva is being taken to Nalini village, how he is going to be treated and what happens to him, probably we can deal with the next part in the next session. This is only for the sake of convenience, because as it is a little longer prose piece, one session delivery would be a slightly difficult task. So we have divided this for the sake of convenience. So the next part of the story, we will take it up in the next session. Thank you very much.